No, I don't really believe it.
I have no idea what's going on in the world right now.
I'm sure it was pure coincidence that the government released that information the same day that more information about Hunter Biden was also released.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know anything either. I just shoot.
Yeah. I guess, do you keep up with the news?
No.
I don't either. I don't really.
What are we going to talk about? If we can't talk about the news, what are we going to talk about?
We can talk about well, it's just a cesspool. Honestly, I don't really like it.
Yeah, I don't either.
I remember when. Also, happy anniversary. You guys were
Thank
recent.
you.
We were recent too. I
Who?
would say, me and my wife. Our anniversary was recent.
You said happy anniversary to me.
To you guys, you and your wife.
Oh,
That was recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so last,
It's both of us.
Both of us around
We
the
said
same
a
time.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but when we were on our honeymoon, that's when all the, remember when the Trump documents and everything?
Yeah.
That's when that's probably for you guys too. And, I remember I was really into all the news and listening to Tim Pool and whatever. And, we go on our honeymoon, we're in the woods for a week.
Yeah.
And I didn't, I remember the day before our wedding is when they raided his house.
Yeah.
And then we get married. We're gone in the woods for a week. We come back, literally no new information at all. And that's when I realized all this is stupid. Why am I even wasting my time with, because you're not, you know what it is? You're not even becoming informed on anything.
No.
You're just being distracted.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of funny that, it's the news has sort of gone the same route that all of our media consumption has gone, where it's just constant algorithmic bombardment of there was a period of time for a little while where I was following the news and it really wasn't by choice.
Yeah.
It was just I kept clicking on. I would see a new video and be like, "What? New information?
Yeah.
I got to look at these. I got to find out. I got to find out a fact." And then I would click on it, and then it increasingly you just keep getting more and more videos that are tailor made to be interesting to you.
Yeah.
It's just you go down a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Yeah. It's not worth it,
No, it's
not. I don't
not.
think it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What have you been up to for your? What did you guys do for your anniversary?
We went to the woods
Again?
Yeah, and again, we stayed in a camper.
Oh, really?
In the woods. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What kind of camper? What are we talking about?
Mallard.
Okay, not bad. Talking one slide out, two slide outs.
One slide out.
Okay.
And it wasn't a real room. It was just a divider.
Yeah.
Pull up. It was nice. We were we should just get land and just live in a camper for a while.
I've thought about that. Yeah.
Maybe because I looked it up online. You can get a camper for $5,000.
Yeah. I mean, not a nice one.
No, an old one. Maybe fix it up.
The thing is about a camper, it doesn't unless it's a super nice one.
Yeah.
It encourages you to spend more time outside. You have if you get a camper with an awning and everything, you can set up folding chairs. It's like having a front porch and everything.
Oh, okay.
Because my when I was growing up, my grandparents had a camper that, and we would go, and me and my parents would go in a tent, and we would go camping with my grandparents and hang out and have a lot of fond memories of that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. We, for our anniversary, we went and babysat for an entire week. We got to decide whether or not we wanted kids for the rest of our life.
Yeah.
And the answer is a solid no. It's a firm no.
That's too bad.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
kids are good.
Your parents, they went, right?
Yeah, it was our first anniversary and my parents' 25th.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so they had seniority on us, so they got to go to California.
Wait,
and we
but
stayed with the kids.
But when it's your 5th, it'll be their 30th.
Yeah.
So every single milestone for you is also a milestone for them.
No, when it's our 5th, it'll be their 29th.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stupid. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Because it'll be, I think.
First?
Yeah, 4 more years.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, what if they're so 29th wedding anniversary, watch the kids again?
Yeah. No, I don't think it's going to happen again for a while. I told them not again until 50. Then we'll watch their kids.
How old are they now?
My parents?
Yeah.
47 and 46.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah. They, by the way, When I say watch the kids, all of my siblings are quite a bit younger than me.
Yeah.
So like, it's not like, I don't have like two moms or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's not like a secret family or anything. They're just, my siblings are all at least 8 years younger than me.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, yeah, that was good. And we did get to go, we went to,
Coachella.
we went to yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
We went to Burning Man.
Really?
Yeah, that was really cool. But no, it was interesting because like my siblings were all in school during the whole time, and so like I had to like try and help with homework. And
I forgot homeschool or
no, right?
Okay.
They were going to a private school.
Okay.
And I forgot how dumb I am. Well, I'm not dumb. I just don't like school. Mm-hmm. And they'd ask for help with homework and stuff, and I'd be like, Google it.
Wait, were they
ChatGPT?
Were they always like that with you when you were in high school too, or
like my parents or my
your siblings? Yeah, were they like, "Oh, help us," or no? So
they
it's just like it's just like now that he's an adult, they're like, maybe he's nice now.
Maybe he's learned something in the 3 years since he graduated. Well, 4 years.
Yeah. Since
I graduated. Mm-hmm. But no, I was gonna say one assignment that was pretty interesting was my sister is in 7th grade. And she got an assignment from her teacher to watch the Jason Aldean Try That in a Small Town video and determine whether or not it's racist. So she's 12, she's in 7th grade, and her history teacher gave her that assignment to watch that music video.
That's so dumb.
And he gave some suggestions, and the suggestions were like, count how many times people of color are portrayed in a negative light, and like it was like one of the questions was like, do the white people in the video align with like conservative values and stuff? And it was pretty funny. And I watched the video with her. Yeah. I hadn't actually seen the music video.
It's kind of cringe.
It is pretty cringe. But the thing is, there's no black people in it.
Really?
Yeah, in the whole music video.
I've only listened to it.
There's only one discernible person of color, and it's in like a crowd of people. It doesn't focus on black. I don't know. It just kind of made me laugh that with all the outrage over it, because I was like looking up like what people were saying about the song, and it's just kind of a vaguely conservative like song, like kind of broadly condemning like violence and lawlessness. Yeah. And leftists were like, hey, don't talk about black people that way. It's just really funny to me that's horrible, like there's nothing there in the song or the lyrics or anything. There's nothing that's like definitively like this is about people of color. And yet everyone immediately assumes it is because
you're the one who made it about black people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
It just made me laugh. The main thing people were saying is that it was filmed in front of the Tennessee State Courthouse, and back in the 30s or like the 20s or 30s, there was a lynching. And I was like, yeah, but they couldn't find any courthouses that there weren't any lynchings at. Like, you go back far enough, there were lynchings at every courthouse. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just, that was an interesting assignment. I told my dad, and he wrote an email to the teacher that assigned that.
Is it weird looking back at, because we were both in a private Christian school, I had a scholarship. I wasn't rich or anything. I had a scholarship, but I had a scholarship for poor people, so I have street cred. But
I don't. My parents paid for me to go. My parents worked hard for me.
Yeah, it's weird looking back on how many maybe projects or assignments were kind of like, I guess, propaganda.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
you probably call that.
Yeah,
propaganda.
Like, I mean, the song is just kind of cringe a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't find it good.
Try that in a small town.
Yeah. It's just like, it's like being conservative isn't cool anymore.
No.
It's now, I don't know.
I mean, how long was it really cool for? Like, I feel like
a good 4 years.
From like
Trump, around when Trump was running, and then
It was partially cool because it was funny.
Yeah.
Because like anything that's like anything that gets that much of a reaction, like just calling yourself like kind of a conservative got such a bad reaction that it's kind of like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So that was like, yeah, I guess I don't know. Do you think it's gone? You think it's like swung the other way to where it's like it's back to being like kind of uncool and
no, I think
you're a square.
I think
if you're a conservative person.
No, I think what's happening is people think that being conservative is the thing.
Yeah,
and I think that's cringe.
Yeah,
I think
that
part's
cringe.
a little dumb. I think that that's why a lot of people are just like, they go to conservatism because they're like liberal or whatever, or they're burnt out by the world and they're like, oh, this is all crazy, I want stability.
Yeah,
and they become conservative and they're like, this is fine. Like, they're not, like they agree with some of the values, but they're like, I'm not finding what I'm wanting, and then they become Christian. So I think that's what we're at now. We're gonna have more of that soon.
I do think Christianity is becoming a little bit more cool than it has been for a while, just because, like, maybe it's just my algorithm and the kind of content that is pushed my way, but like Christian gym bro memes is a big thing funny for me. Which are pretty good. And I think it's becoming more. Not that it was ever not culturally acceptable to be a Christian, but to be like open about your Christian, like more public with it, I think is becoming more like, that's becoming more of a positive thing for a lot of people.
Well, also, like, this is just a side note, because you mentioned the memes and the Jim Bro memes. Some of my favorite of those Christian memes are where they, if it wasn't Christian, it'd be the cringiest thing ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, like, the meme will just say, oh, the world's crazy, and it has like drag queen story hour and whatever, and then it's like some like club music, and then on the bass drop, then it's like just pictures of Jesus, and it's like repent and turn to Christ. And if it were anything else, you know what I think it is? It's so authentic that you just have to kind of chuckle at it.
Right.
I think we're at this point where, like, and I'm starting to feel this too, where I'm hating all this inauthenticity so much that it's making me want to be like what I used to criticize as cringe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there comes a point where you can only be so ironic.
Yeah.
You can only call so many things gay.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, it does feel weird because, like, I'm starting to change in that, where, like, last year I would have been more hesitant to just try to be unironic, just authentic, and just say things that I like, or say just genuinely compliment things without having to like sneer at
undercut it a little
bit.
Yeah.
We're going full circle, we're coming back around. But
there's a little inchworm on your necklace that is crawling up your shirt for about 15 minutes now.
Come on, buddy.
Get him on the mic. Get him on the pod.
So
this is our first guest. Oh, dang.
So we're not doing guests.
Yeah. You ever think, this is a hard sidetrack, but do you ever think about how, like, if you don't like inherently value human life, you really have no justification for killing a fly, unless you're just like being speciesist.
Oh, you mean like PETA and whatever?
Yeah. Like PETA, if you go by the definition that like humans are just another animal, like what right do we have to
I love where you're going with that, because I've thought of that a little bit, where you have like PETA. The people who are like, let's eat meat. You know what their argument is? The argument is like, well, we can do that because we're just another animal. Yeah. Or we're the best animal.
Well, that's the naturalistic fallacy.
Yeah. But then the PETA people, they're saying, no, we are like ontologically separate.
Yeah.
Therefore, we have a responsibility to steward it, which is crazy. But that's,
That is the crazy thing about like trying to justify things without any underlying like system of values.
Yeah.
Like if you try to justify like pretty much any like set of rules without an underlying system of values, which kind of Like that's one of the that's like the moral argument for the existence of God is that, you know, you have to have, for society to function, you kind of have to have a sort of set of values that everyone can kind of agree are like positive. Let's not get into that though.
Yeah, we could. I mean,
we could.
Okay. Yeah, it's fun.
I don't know.
Oh wait, yeah.
We talked about that too much in our last couple episodes.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't know.
Yeah, no, but the PETA thing, I want to mention something about the PETA thing, but then I want to go back to the Christianity thing because it's kind of a fun place to be at. But the PETA thing, it's really funny because, like, in order to, like for PETA, in order for them to maintain their position, they have to hold that humans are like a completely separate category than animals, completely different in kind, like ontologically separate. But in order to do that, like, but see, then if that's the case, then like, why do I have to care about like pigs if I'm separate than them? Whereas then the other ones, it's like, I don't know. Like, you
could probably make an argument from a like a naturalist perspective that that like humans we just value ourselves more than other species. And so we're not like different from them, we're not separate from them, we're just different. And so there's no I don't know.
Yeah. But see, you know what that would end up being is like then that's just a hierarchy of, and then because there will be some vegans
and
where
we don't like hierarchies.
No. There will be some vegans where
all hierarchies are negative.
I saw a video of this girl and she was like a vegan and someone says, what about if your dog has ticks? What do you do? And she's like, well, it's hurting the dog, so therefore I have to use. But then it's like once you get into that, so you're saying, okay, so
your value, the dog is in a higher tier than the ticks.
So then what if I'm a human and I really, really need a Big Mac, or I really want one? What if I want a meat mountain, you know? It
is funny about, like, if you think about it, the whole idea that hierarchies are inherently bad is a like putting, like, if you're saying that hierarchies are bad, you're saying that like your way of thinking is higher, because if something's bad, then there has, like, you know what I'm saying? This is a very disjointed thought. But like if you're asserting that hierarchies are bad, then you're saying that one way of thinking is better than others. Like if you're telling like big government, or if you're saying that big corporations are evil, then you're saying like you should think how I think. So it's like you're still kind of creating a hierarchy by that. I don't know.
Does it seem like if that's the case, then like nothing would have any meaning at all? But
which I guess that, you know, if you think about it, that is kind of the whole, like, that's like the whole, I don't know. I don't know enough about this to...
that's cool. Yeah, what were we talking about? Christianity?
Yeah,
when we were in a Christian school, right? What's the weirdest thing you remember someone saying back then?
So I went to, this is a different school than the one both of me and you went to, because I went to a Baptist school through high school, and we had a substitute.
Can I preface something for anyone listening to it?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're both still Christian. You know, we went to like effectively like a fundamentalist school. I'm just not that anymore. I'm not a liberal. I'm just, you know, but
I don't know. I don't know if I can very easily define what I am. Like as a whole.
That's okay.
You know? But what I was gonna say is, I went to a Baptist school and we had a substitute Bible teacher. Which those are always wild. And he said that he was like he brought up the some of the stories about God wanting to destroy his creation, God like killing the Israelites or God.
yeah.
God in the Old Testament stories about God's righteous anger, and he said that he was like, "How can a loving God do something like this?" And he didn't go the path that I expected him to, which was like to kind of justify why those things happened, or like talk about how God isn't like confined to our idea of like morals, I guess.
Yeah.
He didn't talk about any of that. He said that God the Father does not love us. Only Jesus loves us.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He said that he said that God as a whole, like talking about like the entire Trinity, God only loves humanity through Jesus.
That can't work.
No, I know. It's I just can't. I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I had some questions, and I talked to my dad about it later, and he thought it was pretty interesting. But I mean, he was just a substitute. So you can't talk to the school and be like, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just some guy from the church. That was attached to the school.
That always bothered me a little bit. Was so my wife, she told me a story of when she was in, I don't know, middle school or whatever, and she had some teacher say something along the lines of, you know, the story of like, there's the two brothers and the father asks them, the parable that Jesus tells. There's two brothers, father asks one of them, hey, will you help me something about the vineyard or whatever?
Yeah.
And then the one says, no, I don't want to. And then he, you know, whatever. And then the other one's like, yeah, I will. But then it's the inverse. So the one who said no ends up showing up, and the one who, you know,
right.
Yeah. He didn't. Yeah, he didn't show up. And then my wife said that the teacher was like, yeah, you see, the moral is that the guy who came back, he should have said yes the first time anyways.
Yeah.
And it was wrong for him to say no. And it's like, no, how do you get that?
Yeah. It is pretty interesting that, I don't know. We kind of like Sunday school teachers. Have you ever thought about the concept of Sunday school teachers? How like you just give your kids, and entrust
some lady,
Where I've had good Sunday school teachers in my life, but I've also had Sunday school teachers that would literally just like they would get that little booklet with like the Sunday school lesson plan and just read it, and then we would color. And it's like, I feel like if you have kids and you're a Christian, you kind of have to take a little bit more of that responsibility on yourself.
Yeah.
To
like, I would think that a Sunday school teacher, it's like we act like children are dumb. Yeah. You know, and like it doesn't matter for them. It does matter. Yeah. You know what they learn is important. And for Sunday school teachers, we just kind of like throw some 19-year-old. And say, go effectively teach them theology.
A 19-year-old or a 90-year-old lady that. Yeah.
And looking back on that, I never really liked that, because you typically would take people who didn't really know very much. Yeah. And then this is my problem with it is no one, at least let's just say the tradition I grew up in, no one would ever just say they don't know. They would make something up, or they would, or they would look at you like you're weird for asking a weird question. But no one would just say like, I haven't thought of that. Let me get back to you next week or something. Yeah.
I think it's just like anything. There's good and bad, and it's very like there's a broad spectrum that they fall under. I mean, probably the same thing is true for pastors or teachers in general. But I wonder if those deer are going to come into frame. I really hope so.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be cool. Our second and third guests.
Yeah, it will. It will.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But
would you ever shoot a deer? Would you ever go hunting?
Your uncle shot one in our backyard. Yeah. Yeah, we ate it. It was really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ed?
Yes.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say names on here.
I'm not going to say last names.
Okay. Yeah, Smith.
Yeah.
Ed Smith. But
I wonder if any of these houses are watching us.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, but it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Podcast is officially run aground.
It has it? Yeah, you know something that I thought about? I was thinking about this for the past couple of weeks. I won't say who I was talking to just because I don't want to bleep names and I'm tired of editing these.
Yeah.
But, because when I edit, I have to listen all the way through.
Yeah,
make sure there's I won't say any names. But I have friends. I love them a lot. They're good friends. I was in a conversation with a couple guys, and one guy was like, he was like, "What's the Orthodox like view on contraception?"
Mm-hmm.
And just like assuming it was Catholic, it's basically Catholic, basically. We don't have to get into that necessarily.
Yeah.
But so everyone I was talking to was single, and my argument was like, I laid out the whole case of why I'm like personally against it, and I think it's argument and whatnot. But what's weird is like, I got this impression, like talking to like single guys, like unmarried guys, that for them, like the appeal to sex is just like it's just like that's all that it's about.
It's pleasure.
Yeah. Sorry, was that like a very? I don't want to be very crude, but.
Well, what are the trying to think of how you would break down sex into different categories of what it means.
Yeah.
Because procreation.
Yeah.
Pleasure, procreation. How many alliteration? We got to get more P words.
Nah. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just an interesting conversation.
Pleasure, procreation. What's a third P word?
Stop doing that.
I'm just trying to think.
Yeah.
Something easy to remember.
Yeah. You
remember when Ben Shapiro reacted to WAP?
No, people didn't realize that was a joke.
Yeah, no, people roast Ben for like stuff that he's like kind of saying saying as a joke, which is interesting.
Yeah, there was that clip of Rogan where he's like, haha, Ben, nah, that's not it. But it's like, yeah, it's a joke. He's making a joke.
Yeah. Yeah, which I mean, to be fair, his jokes are all very like homeschoolery.
Yeah.
So it is understandable that it is still kind of cringe a lot of times, but yeah.
Yeah. But.
Wet ass P word. Just the way he talked about it was so funny, and he's like, we should move on.
Yeah. No, it was interesting, that conversation I had, because it's weird talking to single people about sex, because they don't get it,
and these are single people that have not had sex,
who not had sex. So like because it seemed
virgins, one might call them.
Virgins. Yeah. Because I just like after that conversation, just the next days, I just thought like is frankly like it's compared to all of it, it's kind of overrated. Compared to like just the whole thing, you know what I mean?
Are you talking about like the whole like thing as like in the entire relationship?
In regards to the act
of the act of sex?
Yeah.
Relation is only
like, I think that like if that's what you're looking for, like if you're like a virgin and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get married so we could like. I just feel like that aspect, I think, is a little overrated.
It's definitely the part that's easiest to understand, because it's the only thing that you can do by yourself. I
guess so.
You can't have like
no,
have an intimate relationship without
sorry, is this weird?
Yeah. Let's keep talking.
Yeah. Well, so because here's. We were having that conversation, and I was like, I laid out my spiel about contraception. I said something like, I essentially said, what is a vagina? Is it the channel by which life enters into the world?
Mm-hmm.
Or like, no, if it's not just the channel by which life enters the world, then it's just like a hole for sexual gratification. You know, if you don't view it as this way, that's you're at the very least you're training yourself to view it as that way. That's probably like a point I made. And I think a response I got was like, oh well, you know, Paul said something about like if you should get married so that you don't burn with lust. But I'm like, no, that's so that you're placing that desire in a proper context.
Yeah, right.
So, but it was just really weird. Like, there felt like there was a lot of like hangovers from like purity culture, where it's like, no, you're just sex is bad and it should whatever. And I don't know. I'm trying to puzzle and figure out all that. Put it together.
So I guess you could say that like. That like sex is it has a multiple different functions.
Yeah.
And I think what your argument would be is that these need to be like balanced in a way. Like, like you can't value one too much.
I think what I would say is like, you know, like you can like you and your spouse can have sex not with the intention of having a child. You can do that just for enjoying the time together, in the same way that you can like go eat at like a really greasy fast food restaurant just for the pleasure of it.
Right.
But that's not what that, you know, because then if that's your habit, you know what I mean, then you're gonna have like an unhealthy view of food. Like that's gonna become gluttony. So like that sort of feasting has to be.
I don't know if I agree with the food comparison that much, because I think that the intimacy between two partners is important as well. Like I think that, I don't know, in the fast food analogy is like, well, you know, you don't want to have sex every day. No. That's kind of the impression I get from that. But
no, what I mean is it's not fast food. It's like it's not food. It's unhealthy food. Yeah. So like obviously you're gonna eat food, but like you shouldn't have cake every day. And the cake is not whatever. When I say that, I don't. Should I say brownies? I don't know.
That's kind of worse, huh?
Whatever.
Either way. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
You know, you said you didn't want to edit this.
Yeah.
Dang.
Why?
I was going to say something.
I don't really
require editing.
I don't really want to edit it. I'm so busy, dude.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Yeah, man. But.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to have to go.
Oh, okay. Really?
No, it's fine. I just want to talk about something else.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No. No, it's fine.
Yeah. Did you have like a weird? Did you ever grow up like purity culture stuff and whatever? No, I didn't really have that either.
I wasn't. I think I was surrounded by it, but I wasn't really exposed to it because I don't think my parents wanted to to have that be the idea.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
Of sex or whatever.
Well, it sounds like you had good parents.
I think so. I think they did pretty good.
It seems like it affected girls more.
Probably so. Yeah.
Like when we were at our college we went to, the girls were weird a little bit. Like they were very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like,
a lot of them.
You couldn't. It was hard to talk to them without them thinking you're just hitting on them.
Yeah.
It was weird to me.
Well, it is a lot of the girls, not all of them, but a lot of them were coming from a very like sheltered background.
Yeah.
And like weren't used to talking to guys, and so their whole like image of like romance and meeting a guy and falling in love and getting married was like very influenced by the books they read.
Yeah.
At least this is what I've picked up on. And so it was like, I feel like there was a whole like subset of girls at the college that I would call book under tree girls, who would think that they would sit under a tree or like on a stone wall or something and read a book by themselves. Yeah. And then one day a handsome man that they hadn't talked to before would come by and say, "Hey, what's a pretty girl like you doing sitting all by yourself over here?" And they would blush and say, "I just prefer to read by myself. It's so much more relaxing." And he would say, "What book are you reading?" And she would say, "Mein Kampf."
Yeah. You know what's really funny though, because what it ended up looking like in real life was they take their book, they go sit under the tree. Either no one would talk to them, or like.
Hold on, my mom's calling. Can I call you back? Yep. I'll call you back in like 30 or 45 minutes. Okay. Okay. Bye. Bye. Love you.
Is it still recording?
I think so. Hopefully.
You sure?
Let me see. Yeah, we're recording. We're good.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
Mein Kampf. No. The book.
Thus Spoke Zarathustra would have been a much funnier option. Dang it.
It might have been. But the girl. What ended up happening was, and I saw this with my own friends. The girl would, she'd be a nice girl, moderately cute. Yeah. And then like a guy would, someone I know, they'd be like, "Oh, I think I really like her. Like we talk in class sometimes." Yeah. And then they try to talk to her, and then she'd be like reading her book, and she'd go, like. Yeah. Yeah, I know. All weird about it.
It's like the. I don't know. There's something weird about like the culture of like the how people flirt. Yeah. Is weird to where like.
Oh, you mean it?
Yeah. Yeah. We're like. It's almost like 1930s or 40s of like, "I really can't stay, baby, it's cold." Yeah. Like where you have to be like kind of standoffish. Oh. Like you can't like, I don't know. Yeah,
you can't express any interest at all. But then what's weird?
Because they want to be chased.
See, except it's that. But you know full well they also have that like the feminist sort of like like they have both. It's so weird. Yeah. So like if you come across as like if you are cute or handsome or whatever, then any kind of advances or whatever, not like you're being weird, but like just talking to them is fine. If you're like if they don't like you, not if you're ugly or whatever, if they just don't like you, then immediately it's weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like I remember people thinking that like my friend, my good friend, people thought he was weird. He's not weird. He's a very normal guy. They just didn't like him. Right. It was just
and it wasn't even that they didn't like him. They just didn't know him. And you tend to like make a very quick first impression and then be like, that's your image of that person. Yeah. So it is kind of weird. Yeah. I want to say, not everybody was like that. There was at least one person that wasn't like that.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, that's good. Yeah. And then you guys got married.
Yeah, we got married.
That's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's just there's just a different like expectation for it almost. Because, like you said, it does have a little bit of the feminist tinge to it, and like, I'm not into like men's rights activism or whatever, but it is very true that like.
Can I say one thing about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
For like if there's any young men listening, get a job and keep it. Go to the gym and go to church. Yeah. Anywho, that's all the advice I have. Yeah,
that is pretty solid advice. Yeah, but I was just gonna say it is very true that like your personality and your vibe as a person pretty much determines whether you can flirt with a girl or not. Like, it doesn't even necessarily be whether you're handsome or not. Like that helps if you are. but that's not like the entire factor. It's just like if you are a person that other people want to be around.
Yeah, it just looking back on it, it seemed like the guys who girls liked were either like there's no middle ground. You're either like the softest kind of guy, or you're the douchiest guy. You know?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which category would you say you fell into?
Me?
Yeah. You're one of the outsiders.
No one talked to me. Yeah.
I did.
You did. Yeah. But
and I would bring you over to the white table sometimes.
No, see, it's funny. It wasn't a black table.
No,
I didn't sit at a colored table.
There was a multicultural table and a table of people that all went to the same youth camps growing up together.
Yeah, no,
those were the separations.
It wasn't like on one side, like one table and cafeteria or whatever. That's where all the basically like outcasts sat.
Yeah,
essentially, yeah. Where and unfortunately, I'm not saying it's race. It's not. It's okay. It's not racism. I'm not saying it's racism. I'm not doing that. It's just in a very sheltered kind of background. You're just not. Well, no. Well, a lot of these people happen to not grow up in the same background.
I would say the people that came the multicultural people.
Yeah, foreigners and biracial, black or whatever. Yeah. And they just happen to not grow up in the same.
Yeah, they didn't go to the same camps and churches and whatever. And although there were some.
The white table.
Yeah. No, that was a joke.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Thank you.
They didn't. I always got the impression they didn't like me though.
No, it wasn't that.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's just that they didn't know you.
Yeah.
You know? And no one was like.
Yeah.
This table.
Yeah. Well, see, because I would try to make jokes, but I don't think anyone understood that I'd made jokes.
Some people didn't understand my jokes most of the time either.
I made a joke around. I'll just say her name. I made a joke around her one time, and her friend. I don't remember her friend's name, but I said something about like. It was just making like an offhand comment about like water. Mm-hmm. I said like, "What are we, cavemen?" Just a dumb thing to, and they're like, "What? But water's good. Water's good for you."
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
There were some people that would like you could joke around with, but there were also it was just different strokes for different folks.
Mm-hmm. We should put this on Facebook around all of our friends and family, and they just like
yeah.
No, I honestly
we should tag our old school in this.
Yeah, I honestly I wanted to kind of veer away from being too I don't want to say anything crude. I want to avoid being crude.
Really?
Unnecessarily, yeah.
Yeah. This podcast is all about positivity.
No,
Positive
yeah.
vibes only.
No, I want to avoid so that like in the off chance that if I were to ever work in ministry, I don't have to take down a podcast. And then I'm not being two-faced too. I don't want to be like unnecessarily crude. I feel like saying when I said ejaculation, I feel like that was okay in the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I hope so.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, and also, I mean, since you're showing your face in this, I don't want to say anything that would jeopardize any of your standing.
I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. I don't. Like my job would never be. I would never lose my job over this kind of thing. And anything aside from that, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would lose my wife over this.
No, I know.
So
yeah.
No, this is just
This
is just for fun, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not doing it for the money, Lord knows.
Speaking of which, we're making a Patreon. No, I don't want to support Patreon ever.
Really?
I like Locals. I think Locals is pretty cool.
What is Locals?
It's like right wing Patreon. It's not. But it's Locals is basically Patreon, but like, so you support them, and then you get like a whole feed of all the content, and then also all the supporters, they can also like post stuff there too. So it does feel like more like a community.
It's like Reddit.
I guess so. It's like a Reddit page, except you're paying money for it.
That's good, right?
It's a little better, yeah. Because then, like, it's easier to interact with the people too, and you can interact with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but about jeopardizing your career and everything.
Yeah.
I don't think we really say any, like, what I'm not saying is I would hesitate on saying like, transing children is bad or abortion is wrong. I wouldn't hesitate on saying stuff like that. I just mean I don't want to say anything that people would be right to criticize me for, like being
that's
overly
fair.
crude or you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, because any like opinions, I'm whatever. I'm gonna still say the same thing. That's okay. But so then, in that same case, like I wouldn't want your family or friends to. I'd want them to be able to watch this and be like, "Oh, okay, cool," not be bothered by anything said.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I guess that kind of thing. Just kind of saying something crude. Just for the sake of laughs,
yeah,
like fairly shallow.
I don't really want to do that too much. But
that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to talk about? You read any good books recently?
A couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I did read one about martyrdom in the early church and the theological meanings of it. And it's actually, it actually is really good. I could send it to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
No, I'm not joking.
Totally, no.
It's
I
actually
really want to read it.
Would you read it? I mean, you said you started reading more.
I did a little bit, but it's very gradual.
Yeah, no, that's fine. What were you reading? Okay.
The Bible.
Really?
A little bit.
That's cool.
Here and there.
Wait, which books?
Psalms.
Psalms are good.
Proverbs.
You should read Judges. Judges is really readable. It's incredibly readable, yeah.
I haven't read Judges in a while, actually.
Judges is good. Another one is you should, if you ever want to read Revelation, read it not as like a end times person. Read it because it's the Greek word is apocalypsos, which just means like unveiling. So, the part where there's Elijah and he has that servant and he's afraid to go into battle, and then Elijah he prays and then he sees I guess the universe unveils and he sees all the spiritual entities that are on their side. Think of it in that way, and then it's easier to read Revelation. So if you read it as this isn't a thing that's going to happen in the future. This is a thing that is present, progressive, happening.
Yeah.
In the same way that God is and was and will be. This is what is happening and will be happening, and
it's more about spiritual warfare.
Yeah, I get. Well, it's I'm not Catholic, but it's like a cosmic mass, is what it is.
Interesting.
Is what it kind of shows. Yeah. Or like liturgy if you're Orthodox. Yeah.
I've often that's one thing that I've always been interested in, but never really understood very well, is like the spiritual entities.
Yeah.
Side of Christianity, because you don't want to fall into the side of saying that schizophrenic people have demons necessarily. Although maybe I don't know. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's
hard to those kind of things. I feel like there's not that many serious discussions about the
I know. Yeah.
Angels and demons.
Have
you read the Screw Tape Letters?
I love the Screw Tape Letters.
The Screw Tape Letters is really good.
I will say this is just I hope this doesn't seem like me proselytizing to you, but it is much more prevalent in Orthodox theology. It's very prevalent, because without it, then compared to most other denominations, they're much less materialistic.
Yeah.
So they kind of recognize that all these, it goes all the way up, to God. It's not like me and then and then God. It's like, well, there's all these spiritual beings and all this. Yeah. So, like, yeah. Did you ever grow up with people would say, like, oh, don't watch, like, Pokemon or something? Or, because then demons will come out of the TV?
No, not come out of the TV, but I was, like, anything involving witchcraft until I was, like, 13.
Yeah.
I was, like, told to stay away from, like, Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
Was discouraged.
Yeah.
Because, which is interesting, because it is, like, a very, Christian, like, and much in the same vein as, like, Lord of the Rings. It's, like, a very Christian story. It's interesting that Lord of the Rings is, like, the... favorite book and movie series of every like Christian, conservative Christian, and Harry Potter is like pushed, like, you know, definitely got passed by. I don't know. I don't really know why that is.
I've never read it.
Harry Potter?
No,
I haven't either.
Have
you read Lord of the Rings?
I was about to start reading it soon.
It's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
I should read it.
I think I read it first when I was like 11.
We should read it and do a book club.
Yeah, for sure.
You should turn this into a book club podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but like not a good, interesting book club podcast. Just like,
we're reading today.
Today we're reading
this week we read funeral orations by Saint Gregory Nazianzus.
We could just do readings for the podcast. Just read a passage. For every for every episode.
You know, it could be just like you know what I'd love to do, either turn this into something like it or apart from it. I'd love to do a Bible book club. I would love that. Like, you ever listen to Something McGee Through the Bible? It's like a radio program.
No.
It took him like 5 years going through every passage and goes.
Yeah.
But he's just commenting on it. But he wasn't like a scholar. He was just kind of a pastor. It was fine. But I would love to do kind of a very nerdy type of Bible book club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess.
Go through passage by passage.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Yeah. I don't feel like I'm equipped for at least not at this point, for a very in-depth breakdown of Bible passages.
We could come back to that in 10 years.
Yeah. For for however long the podcast lasts for. I don't know. We'll see if we make it another episode. But...
We make another episodes. I was gonna have him. We're gonna check, and it's like, dang, it's not recording.
I'm recording audio,
good.
So
that's good.
That is good.
I guess we'll just keep going until it's dark.
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, we've been going. My thing has been recording for 55 minutes, so we probably got another 10 or 15 minutes in the tank.
Yeah, we should at least go to an hour at least.
Yeah,
but book club. What did we just say before that? We're talking about something.
I don't remember.
Books. You're reading more. Yeah. Christian books. Lord of the Rings. Demons. Angels and demons. Yeah, it's too bad that we I've been trying to learn about that a little more recently, angels and demons and everything. But I always grew up with, because I have kind of Pentecostal leaning family. So the image they would always imprint was like, oh, if you watch Scooby-Doo, the demon will crawl out of the TV and it'll rape you. And sorry, I shouldn't have said that last bit. The demon will crawl out of the TV, and
Josh, that was a little crude.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess what's unfortunate is, like, at least they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least taking it seriously.
So I, for a little while, I worked with a guy who was Pentecostal, and maybe I shouldn't tell this, but who cares?
Okay, yeah.
He said that because he got saved later in life.
Okay.
He's like probably in his 50s, and he said I don't think he got saved until he was like 30, and he got saved out of like alcoholism.
That's lit.
And
That's
he
cool.
said that he was he told me he was very sexually promiscuous before he got saved.
Okay.
And like married and settled down.
Oh, good.
And he said that there was a girl that that he had only had sex with once before he was married, but that when he was married, the memory of her made it difficult for him to be intimate with his wife, and he said that he went to I wish I could remember what it was called.
Deliverance ministry.
Deliverance.
Yeah.
Yes. And the guy said that he had to do it was interesting that it was a very physical thing that he had to do. And I wish I could remember what it was that he said. But basically he said that in the end, a spirit, a part of her spirit departed from him. And I thought that was an interesting way of looking at things.
Yeah.
To where that's just kind of like you eliminating something from your mind, but it's interesting to think of it as a kind of a physical thing in a way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I do think, at least in that situation, I do believe in the whole, when the two become, I'm not going to do a gesture, but two become one, you that's there's a spiritual bonding as well.
Yeah.
And, to break, you just separating that, you're gonna, it's going to be, it's going to be weird.
It's not going to, it
won't be easy.
I don't think, people take for granted that you can have consequence-free sex.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's really, I don't think that's really, unless you're a psychopath.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't think that's really a possibility.
Yeah.
For people.
Yeah, it is crazy, the idea that I don't know, I guess you treat something we're treating something really important it's just nothing, basically. You just go into the bathroom, almost the same way you just treat it,
Yeah.
It's gross, honestly.
This might be a bad rabbit hole to go down at this point, but I've often wondered about the reality of heaven and what heaven would be like. And because I was thinking about how if everyone is going to live eternally, I wouldn't necessarily everyone is immortal, basically. You don't have to worry about death, and you don't have to worry about populating the earth. You don't have to worry about eating food and to sustain yourself, or having sex to create more people. I think it kind of when you separate the survival aspect of the human experience. I don't know. It's just interesting, how much of what we do in our daily lives is oriented towards just the base level of our existence as
the more
survival.
I guess more animalistic.
Yeah,
kind of. Yeah. Because
it's interesting how much focus you give. We give that.
Yeah. I know there's some aspects of it where you just have to. You have to eat. You have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
You have
But that's if you break it down between eating and drinking and sex, that's a big part of pretty much everyone's lives.
I know,
and kind of makes me think about the whole biblical idea of living in the world but not of the world. How your values are supposed to be different. You're not, these aren't the most important things.
That's what monks are. They're essentially trying to live like angels on earth. That's what they're trying to do. And I don't know, when you were just saying that, I just thought man, I wonder do I spend more time eating than I do praying? That's not good. Right?
Yeah.
I just
it's interesting. It's an interesting perspective to try and think about, of if you didn't have to worry about living, basically, if you were just gonna live no matter what you did, what would you do? And not in the earthly sense of I would jump off a cliff and see what it felt like to hit the ground and just go. I had a youth pastor who would be like, I just think it's going to be so awesome when I get to heaven. I'm just going to go up to the highest cliff I can and just jump off, and I'll just feel like I'm flying, and then hit the ground and get up and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's, you know what's crazy? Sorry, not to proselytize at you, but that's why people should experience like a liturgical service at some point. They really should, because
the Vespers that I went to with you, that was it was an interesting experience. I felt like I couldn't fully appreciate it because I didn't know the meaning behind all the different all the different
just everything. Yeah,
the ceremony.
It takes a little bit of time, and like the priest, we were at a thing on Monday, and someone asked him like, they basically asking him like, are you still learning stuff after every single like liturgy, every single service and everything? He's like, oh yeah, all the time. Like I'll read something and I go, oh, that's what that means.
Yeah,
he's 73.
That's what people say that have been Christians and studying the Bible for a really long time. Is that as you continue reading the Bible, you just keep finding new meaning in it and stuff.
It's so like Orthodox, they'll say something about like, because they have a lot of value in the tradition, but they'll say it's a living tradition, and it's something you kind of like, you develop a relationship with it, and the same with like the liturgy and Vespers, you kind of you definitely like learn to fall in love with it because it's just So like when we talk about like heaven, like you look at like Revelation and it's unveiling what heaven looks like, and heaven looks like a lot like a liturgy and a lot like mass, and I think a lot of people should at least experience that at some point, because when you start to like really learn to fall in love with that, like the idea of, oh, then I go up to the tallest cliff and it's like, no, I kind of want just more liturgy, but except without my selfish inclinations to go home and watch TV.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Where it's me, but I'm more tilted towards like, no, I'm fully in this, Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I like, one of the things I like, and I don't know enough about it, but one of the things that I like about the Orthodox, at least what I've seen, is that it seems to be more oriented towards community than the kind of churches that I grew up in, that are very, like, one thing that I've noticed recently is how Americanized and like individualistic the like most of the conservative churches in America are, like whether you go with Baptists or whatever kind of like conservative, like more fundamental denomination in America, it tends to be very individualistic and like I think there's a little bit of a danger in that, where it becomes almost like you see with like mega churches, and I'm not like inherently against like just big churches, but a lot of them, it's almost like
bread and circuses.
Sorry?
Bread and circuses.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Like I don't know if I would say it's just like
maybe it's
nothing
a little harsh,
but fluff and distraction, but like I would say it's just
is bells and whistles better?
Kind of. I still don't know if that's necessarily how I would describe it. I would say it's just like very commercialized.
Okay.
Like it's very like, what can we do that people will like?
Oh, okay. I see.
Like, and I'm not saying that's inherently wrong, and I'm not saying that I don't like contemporary Christian music or whatever. Like, I just think if you try hard enough to like manufacture a spiritual experience, you'll probably be like successful, but it won't always be as genuine as it should be. I don't know. I don't want to sound too self-righteous about this.
No, you're fine. What's interesting about that is that's kind of why at least for me, why I wanted to leave our old church was because I in high school I went to I won't say the name, the nearby megachurch
Yeah.
with my dad. And then when in college, I started going to a more like, country kind of Church of God, sort of a leaning Wesleyan kind of church, which
Yeah.
I love those. I really love those people.
Yeah.
They're my
Great
friends.
people.
But it's just, I guess the state of just how American churches are they tend to be either, at least in my experience, let's say my experience, what I've been to, tends to be on one, it's just like generally like middle class white American culture on either end of the political spectrum.
Yeah.
So it's more liberal middle class, more conservative middle class. But I'm like, it just felt like weird over time.
And I think a lot of I think a lot of it tends to be a little performative. As far as like, I don't know, like I said about like the goal is to like make the music and the atmosphere one that like encourages people to act a certain way, like to act like to be blessed. And I'm not saying it's not genuine. It's just there's something like I think you have to be careful with. I just think it can become like performative. Like you're doing this because you're raising your hand and testifying because you're you're supposed to.
Yeah, that makes me think of like, and I'll be sparing on the details here, but my old church, and again, I love these people, but I remember, sometimes they talk about like the leadership kind of say like, oh, because it was a small church. They're like, oh, if we need to get like a drummer, and we got a drummer and a bass player, maybe implying maybe if the music's better, we'll get more young people. Right. And I just thought like, no, like they want God. Yeah. They just want God, and that can, because we visited another Orthodox church recently. It's a tiny little Serbian Orthodox church. Yeah. All of it, half the people were tone deaf. It was great. It's amazing. And it's like, it's really, music might help, but it's about the intention and what you're aiming at. Yeah.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah.
But. I feel like this is a good place to wrap up. It's going to get dark soon. I know.
I know.
It closes soon.